Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 5, Narada's instructions to Vyasadeva on the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. Verse 18. तस्यैव हेतो प्रयतेत कोविदो न लभ्यते यद्भ्रमतामुपर्यधः तल्लभ्यते दुःखवदन्यतः सुखम् कालेन सर्वत्र गभीररंहसा. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Narad Muni continued, persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka down to the lowest planet Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Every man everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. Some men are busy, engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy, etc. And some of them are engaged in fruity work to become happy in the next life by attaining higher planets. It is said that on the moon, the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somarasa, and the Pitraloka is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment, either during this life or in the life after death. Some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangements, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing good work. But it is not to happen. By the grace, by the law of the Supreme, by the law of the Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, one can obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, and good bodily features. We see also that even in this life, one obtains a good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work. But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahmaloka and in the lowest Patala are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. He should try to get into the permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he will not be forced to come back again to the miserable material world, either in this or that planet. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahmaloka and in other lokas also. They are obtained in the life of the demigods and also in the life of the dogs and hogs. The miseries and mixed happiness of all living beings are only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not, therefore, waste time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, this is a very, very important verse, a very important instruction Narad Muni is giving to all of us. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovidaha. Tasyaiva. So, this is in continuation with what Narad Muni has told in the previous shloka. In the previous shloka, as we discussed yesterday, Narad Muni said that even if one gives up one's material duties and takes up Krishna consciousness, but eventually, due to some reason, if he falls down from his spiritual platform, still there is no loss for such a person. On the other hand, what is the gain that one gets if one does not become a devotee but very nicely executes his material duties? That is the instruction. The previous shloka, we have discussed about it in detail yesterday. So today, continuing in the same line of thought, uh, Narad Muni is saying, Tasyaiva hetoho prayateta kovidaha. Kovidaha. Now, this instruction is meant for kovidaha, means one who is philosophically inclined, one who is interested to know the ultimate goal, to achieve the ultimate goal of life. He is called kovidaha. Tasyaiva, tasyaiva, tasya eva. For that purpose only, hetoho, hetu means reason, prayateta, should endeavor. One should do prayatna. Prayatna means one should try, one should endeavor. Prayateta kovidaha, if one is philosophically inclined. Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha. Na labhyate, that which is not obtained. Brahmatam, wandering. Upari adaha. Upari means higher planetary systems. Adhaha means lower planetary systems. So Narad Muni is saying if one is interested in attaining perfection in life, if one is philosophically inclined, one is intelligent, then he should actually endeavor for that achievement which is not obtainable even after wandering in the higher or in the lower planetary systems. Hmm? What is that? That is freedom from the repetition of birth and death, isn't it? So, Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also, even if one goes to the topmost planet within this material universe, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Lord Krishna says, in this universe, there are so many planetary systems, 14 planetary systems, and the topmost is Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma himself resides. It is also called Satyaloka. And there, the duration of life is maximum in the entire universe. The duration of life of living entities in the Brahmaloka is the maximum. So, but Lord Krishna says, A Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punara Avartino Arjuna. Even if you go to that topmost planet, Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, still you cannot become free from the repetition of birth and death. Punaravartana means repetition. So, again, you'll have to take birth in this material world. That means attaining Brahmaloka is not the perfection of life. So, but Krishna says, Mam upetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. If one approaches me, upetya means to approach. We have to approach Krishna. Upetya tu. Mam upetya tu kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Arjuna. If you approach me, punarjanma na vidyate. There is no more repetition of birth and death for you in this material world. So, Narad Muni is saying, if you are really intelligent, you should work hard, you should do prayatna, you should endeavor to achieve that perfection of life, which you cannot attain even after going to the topmost planet in this material world. That is intelligence. And then in the third line, Narad Muni is saying, Tal labhyate dukkhavad anyata sukham. Tal labhyate, tat labhyate. That can be obtained. What? Dukkhavat, like the miseries. Anyataha, as a result of previous work. Sukham, sense enjoyment. Like for Narad Muni is saying, just like without putting endeavors, you will encounter miseries in your life. Nobody works hard to get miseries, but still miseries will come. Why? Because of anyataha, because of one's previous work, because of karma reactions. In the same way, Narad Muni is saying, Sukham, material happiness also will come in your life based on your past karma. You don't have to work hard to enjoy material happiness. Hmm? Just like material miseries are coming to your life without your desiring or without working hard for it, in the same way, whatever material happiness is destined for you according to your past karma, you will surely enjoy. There is no doubt about it. How will it come about? Kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. Kalena, in course of time, sarvatra, everywhere, gabhira, subtle, ramhasa, progress. By the subtle progress of time, is a time factor, kala, which actually brings about both happiness and distress, which are nothing but reactions of your pious and impious activities in the past. So, kala is that factor which coordinates, our life when we should enjoy happiness because of the past pious karma, and when we should suffer distress because of the sinful activities that we have done in the past. So karma, yeah, the reactions are coordinated by kala. So Narad Muni is saying kala, everywhere kala acts, no one can overpower the influence of kala. And in due course of time, we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. Just like we get, in the same way we get happiness also. Sense enjoyment also is obtained. You don't have to work hard for it. It's a very important verse. This verse is telling, don't work hard for material happiness. Whatever is destined will come. Instead, you work hard for becoming Krishna conscious. Because this perfection you will not be able to get even if you go to the topmost planet within the universe, Brahmaloka. So that is the purpose of human life. So this verse is giving a direction to every human being what we should actually be busy with in our life. Many times, we say this, I'm very busy, I'm very busy. We're very busy. But Narad Muni is saying you should be busy with the right activity. What is the use of being busy in the wrong activity? You're simply wasting your human life. So being busy in the right activity, and that right activity is bhakti, Krishna conscious activities. We should be busy with Krishna conscious activities because that is what human life is meant for. Human life is not meant for any other purpose than trying to achieve the perfection of Krishna consciousness. Because human life is very rarely obtained. Just like in other species of life, happiness and distress come. In the same way, human life also, we get happiness and distress. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it will come based on your past karma, based on your past actions. Now, in this human life, what you should do, which you cannot do in other species of life, that is to develop Krishna consciousness. So, that is what Narad Muni is telling in this verse. So, Prabhupada is explaining how everybody in this material world, everybody is busy. Some people are busy in trade, industry, economic development, gaining political supremacy. Some people are busy performing the karma kanda rituals of the Vedic scriptures in hope of going to the upper planetary systems so that they can have a longer duration of life and a higher standard of sense gratification. Some people are trying to go to other planets like Moon or Mars through various mechanical arrangements. Mm. But all these activities that people are trying to be busy with, uh, they cannot actually enjoy real happiness because wherever you go in this material world, dukhalayam ashashvatam, the material world will give you miseries. That's how the material world is designed. So, and also Prabhupada is mentioning here, according to the scriptures, we obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, good bodily features based on our past good karma. Janma, Aishwarya, Shrutaha, Shrivihi. Four things. Janma, birth in a good family. Aishwarya, opulence. Shrutaha, good education. Shri, good bodily beauty. All these things we obtain because of our past good karma. Prabhupada says we also see that even in this life one obtains good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work, isn't it? So, there are two individuals putting the same amount of hard work and trying to achieve the same result, but they get different results. Why? Because of their past karma. So, Prabhupada is saying all such material positions are impermanent. It's of no use. Even if one becomes Brahma, even if one becomes Brahma, he gets the supremacy over the entire universe. Still, it is an impermanent situation. It's impermanent. So one should aim, if one is really intelligent, one should aim to attain a permanent life of knowledge and bliss, which is not to be found in this material world. So we have to become intelligent. So Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada says, is meant to make people intelligent. Hmm? You have to work. So why don't you work in something for something which is going to give you eternal benefit? That is intelligence, isn't it? Anyway, we are all working. Instead of working for some temporary results, temporary benefit, become intelligent, uh, dedicate your life for Krishna's service. That is eternal, that is real intelligence. So, in Krishna consciousness, one can really have, uh, even in this material world, when a person becomes Krishna conscious, nicely practices, one can experience happiness, joy. One can become insulated from all kinds of material distresses just by focusing one's mind on Krishna conscious activities. And at the end of this life, such a devotee who has attained perfection by focusing his mind completely on Krishna is sure to go back to the spiritual world and enjoy an eternal life full of knowledge and bliss in the association of the Supreme Lord there. So, therefore, one should not simply waste the valuable human form of life for some petty, uh, you know, some petty happiness. Whatever material happiness is destined, it will surely come. No one can take away that. It will surely come. And especially for a devotee, Krishna personally involves and he manages the karma of the devotee in such a way that the devotee can easily cross over the ocean of material suffering, material world, and go back to the spiritual world. So Krishna does the management of both the punya karma and papa karma results of a devotee's past lives. And he makes sure that by giving the right intelligence to the devotee, the Lord makes sure that such a devotee can go back to the spiritual world at the earliest. So, this is the benefit of being a devotee. Krishna personally manages the karma of a devotee. Therefore, we should simply endeavor to go back to the spiritual world. That should be the mission of everyone's life, Prabhupada is saying. We should only endeavor to go back to Godhead, to develop Krishna consciousness. So we should make that as the mission of our human life, not any other thing. Text 19. Navaijano jatu kathanchana vrajin mukunda sevyanyavadanga samsmritim smaran mukundangri upaguhanam punar vihatumicchena rasagraho janaha. Narad Muni continued. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Narad Muni continued. My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruitive workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. Purport. A devotee of the Lord automatically becomes uninterested in the enchantment of material existence because he is Rasagraha, or one who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. There are certainly many instances where devotees of the Lord have fallen down due to uncongenial association, just like fruitive workers, who are always prone to degradation. But even though he falls down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as a fallen karmi. A karmi suffers the result of his own fruitive reactions, whereas a devotee is reformed by chastisement directed by the Lord Himself. The sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of a beloved child of a king are not one and the same. An orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him. But a beloved son of a rich man, although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, is always under the vigilance of his capable father. A devotee of the Lord, due to wrong association, sometimes imitates the fruitive workers. The fruitive workers want to lord it over the material world. Similarly, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange for devotional service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty by the Lord Himself. As a special favor, He may remove all material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord and is set right to execute his devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that such fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in a family of highly qualified Brahmanas or in a rich mercantile family. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into a position seemingly of helplessness. The devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the lotus feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate, But the devotee who is put into a forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around. Pure devotional service is so spiritually relishable that a devotee becomes automatically uninterested in material enjoyment. That is the sign of perfection in progressive devotional service. A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna and does not forget him even for a moment, not even in exchange for all the opulence of the three worlds. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So here in this shloka, Narad Muni is telling what is the difference between a sometimes when a devotee falls down and when a karmi falls down. What is the difference between the two? Very interesting verse. Navai jano jatu katanchana vrajain. Na, never. Why? Certainly. Janaha, a person. Jatu, at any time. Kathanchana, somehow or other. Avrajet, does not undergo. This word Kathanchana is there in the famous prayer to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kathanchana smrute yasmin dushkaro sukaram bhavet. So there's a very beautiful prayer in the Chaitanya Charitamrita which says that Kathanchana, somehow or the other, if a devotee remembers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even difficult things become very, very easy. And on the other hand, if a devotee forgets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even easy things become very difficult. This is a prayer to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the word Kathanchana comes there. Kathanchana means somehow or the other. Somehow or the other, we should remember the Lord. That is the idea. So here the word Kathanchana is there. Navai, Navai Jano Jatu Kathanchana Avrajet. Janaha means a person. Avrajain means does not undergo. Mukunda Sevi. Mukunda Sevi means the servant of Lord Mukunda, Lord Krishna, the devotee of the Lord. Anyavad Anga Samsmritim. Anyavad means like others. Anga, here Anga means, oh my dear. Narad Muni is addressing Vyasadeva as Anga. So this word Anga comes many times in the verses of Bhagavatam. Whenever the word, mostly when the word Anga is used mm, as a way to refer to the other person, it is out of affection. So Anga means part of one's own body. So when a superior addresses the other devotee as Anga, it means you are very dear to me, like the part of my own body. That is the meaning of the word Anga. So it is used as a way to address. So here Narad Muni is addressing his disciple Vyasadeva as Anga, oh my dear, like that. Samsmritim means material existence. So Narad Muni is telling a devotee who is engaged in the service of the Lord, Mukunda Sevi, he does not fall down in material existence the way a non-devotee falls. They are two different things. Smaran Mukundangri, why it is different? Why is it different that a devotee falling down and a non-devotee falling down? Why Narad Muni is saying they are two different things? That is explained in the next part of the shloka. Smaran Mukunda Angri. Angri means the lotus feet of the Lord. Mukunda Angri, the lotus feet of the Lord. Smaran, remembering. Smaran Mukundangri Upaguhanam Punaha. Upaguhanam means embracing. Punaha, again. Vihatum Ichen na Rasagraho Janaha. Vihatum means willing to give up. Ichet, desire. Na, never. Rasagraha, one who has relished the mellow. Janaha, person. So why is a devotee's falling down different from a non-devotee's falling down? Because a devotee, he has tasted the nectar from the lotus feet of the Lord. That means he has developed a taste in serving Krishna, either by hearing about Krishna's transcendental pastimes, or he has developed a relish for chanting the holy names, or he has developed a relish for worshipping the deity of the Lord, or he has developed a taste for association of the devotees of the Lord. Some or the other way, a devotee, at least once in his life, he has developed a taste for the lotus feet of the Lord. And because of that, he cannot he can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. He can never give up that special taste that he has developed. Hmm? Even if because of bad association or because of wrong choices, because of whatever may be the reason, if a devotee goes away from Krishna consciousness, still he is not to be considered a hopeless case, because such a devotee, uh, somehow or the other, because of the taste that he has developed in Krishna consciousness, he will come back again sooner or later, come back again to Krishna consciousness. That is what Narad Muni is saying. Therefore, a devotee is falling down from the standard of devotional service. Definitely, it is a matter of concern, because why should a devotee even think of going away from the service of the Lord? But maybe because of some influence, because of past karma, so many things. uh, Suppose a devotee goes away, still he is not lost. That is a most important thing that we have to understand from this shloka. That means a devotee is never anatha. Anatha means a person who has no master. Anatha actually means an orphan. Orphan. But a devotee is sanatha. Sanatha. Sa means he always has a natha, a master, isn't it? Lord is Jagannatha. He is the master of the entire universe. And a devotee, even once if he goes to Jagannatha and says, I belong to you, I'm your servant, then such a devotee, he is never lost. He's always, in whatever condition he may be, he's always uh, protected by the Lord, cared for by the Lord. Prabhupada is giving an example in the purport to demonstrate how a karmi suffering in this material world and sometimes a devotee suffering, both are not the same. Hmm? Devotees also suffer in this material world, because the material world means it is Dukhalayam, place of miseries. So Prabhupada is giving an example. And first of all, Prabhupada is giving the reason. A karmi suffers the result of his own fruitive reactions, whereas a devotee is reformed by chastisement directed by the Lord himself. So a karmi who has got nothing to do with the Lord, who is simply trying to enjoy the results of his own action, who is simply materially interested, such a karmi, why is he suffering? He is suffering because of the past sinful activities that he has performed. Now, sometimes devotees are also suffering. Why they are suffering? No, they are not suffering because of their past sinful activities. The Lord is in control of a devotee's life. The Lord tries to manage the past reactions of a devotee in such a way that the devotee becomes reformed and becomes more attached to the loving service of the Lord. So Prabhupada is giving the example. The sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of a beloved child of a king are not one and the same. They are not the same. The orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him, but a beloved son of a rich man, although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, is always under the vigilance of his capable father. This is very, very important. Hmm? That we can see in so many examples that we have discussed yesterday also. Ajamila fell down from his position because of the association of the prostitute. But was he, uh, did he actually become anatha? No. The Lord took care of him. The Lord gave him the intelligence to name his son as Narayana. And at the end, last moment of his life, he remembered the Lord by he chanted the holy name of the Lord, and the Lord came and protected him. So this is an example how the Lord never gives up a sincere devotee. A devotee might have fallen away from the standards of devotional service out of weak mindedness, but the Lord never forgets the little devotional service that a devotee has offered to Him in all sincerity. The other example is Bharat Maharaj. So, Bharat Maharaj, also because of his attachment to a deer, he became he had to be born as a deer. So, but even in the body of a deer, the Lord gave him the remembrance of his past life, so that this time he became very vigilant. And next time, when he got a human form of life as Jada Bharata, he was so vigilant not to become a victim of any kind of material attachments. So, this intelligence is provided by the Lord. This is how the Lord takes care of his devotee by giving the right intelligence, remembrance. That's why Krishna says, Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So, for a devotee, the Lord gives remembrance of him, the Lord gives him the right knowledge, intelligence, how to navigate through this material existence and go back to the spiritual world. The Lord gives. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. I give the intelligence by which my devotee can come back to me. So, therefore, a devotee, from a material point of view, it may appear that a devotee has no master, or, if he has fallen away from devotional service, he is left high and dry, oh, he has become an orphan. No, the Lord is always vigilant. He is vigilantly watching over his devotees, giving the devotees right direction. Therefore, Narad Muni is saying, somehow or the other, become a devotee of the Lord. That's the greatest, that is the greatest achievement. Not going to Brahmaloka, not going to Mars, moon. That's all not at all the success in life. Success is somehow once you relish the nectar of serving the lotus feet of Krishna, once in your life, nicely, you relish that. And because of this, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, if once you relish nicely the service of Krishna's lotus feet, you become uninterested in material things, material pleasures. That is a success in human life. And because of this, even if a devotee goes away, apparently, he is not lost. This we can see practically that, when we always remember, oh, first, especially the first few days of our Krishna conscious life, where we came to Krishna consciousness, association of devotees, doing the service. First time when we did service in the association of devotees. First time when we attended a festival. So nice it was. We will never be able to forget that. First time, the joy of dancing in Sankirtana, first time experience. First time attending Mangalarati. These are all unforgettable experiences. Afterwards, we all become victims of familiarity. Oh, Mangalarati, so many times I've attended. Oh, this Sankirtan, I've danced so many times. But first time when we properly have relished it, that experience we will never forget, isn't it? So, it is that strength of that higher taste which makes us so attached to the process of Krishna consciousness. So, therefore, one who has become attached to Krishna in one or the other way will never want to go away from Krishna. Or even if he goes away, the taste will bring him back to Krishna. Therefore, Narad Muni is saying, a devotee's falling down is not at all same as a karmi's falling down. Now, another point that Prabhupada mentions in the purport, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange for devotional service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty by the Lord Himself. As a special favor, He may remove all material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord and is set right to execute the devotional service. Foolish devotee, Prabhupada says. Who is a foolish devotee? A devotee who has taken up devotional service, but he also has taste for material positions, material enjoyment. Such a person is called a foolish devotee. So, what does the Lord do for such a devotee? The Lord takes away his material possessions. There's a verse actually. Lord Krishna tells this. Yasyaham anugrahanami harishye tadhanam shanaihi. Hari, Lord Krishna is called Hari. Hari means one who takes away all inauspicious things from the life of a devotee. He is called Hari. So, if the Lord feels that this devotee, instead of being attached to me, he is attached to the name, fame, positions. So he is more interested in all that. But he also wants to attain me. What is this foolishness? Therefore, I will do one thing. I will actually take away all his wealth and name, fame, position. I will strip him of all these material possessions. So then what happens? Such a devotee becomes pauper. Now, once he becomes pauper, all his relatives, friends, they will all abandon him and go away. Because no one is interested, no one wants to make friendship with a pauper. Actually, in this position, he becomes very, very helpless. So that Lord Himself creates that situation of helplessness for such a devotee, foolish devotee, so that the devotee becomes totally dependent on Krishna. So this is a special case, the special mercy of the Lord. We see various kinds of pastimes of Krishna. Sudama, who was in such an impoverished state of condition, he was so santushta, he was so happy, satisfied. He was thinking that Lord is taking care of me so well because he was a pure devotee. But because his wife was insisting him, so he went to Dwaraka to see the Lord. But even after going to Dwaraka, he didn't ask any material favor from the Lord. But the Lord understood, and the Lord blessed Sudama. Even without asking anything, the Lord blessed him unlimited, boundless fortune. Why? Why? So just now we discussed that Lord will take away all material wealth. But to Sudama, he gave boundless fortune, boundless wealth he gave. Why is he doing like this? That is because the Lord is convinced that Sudama, even if I give him unlimited wealth, he will not give up my bhakti. Therefore, I will give him. See, like this, the Lord, case to case, he decides whom to give wealth, whom to take away wealth from. The Lord will decide. That is the mercy of the Lord. That is the meaning of being sanatha. That is the meaning of being protected by the Lord. So a devotee of the Lord is always protected by the Lord. That means when we all became devotees, who is a devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, one who has chanted the holy name of the Lord even once in his life, he is a devotee. Therefore, he's protected by the Lord. So when we all take up devotional service, we should all know that now to what degree I surrender to Krishna, to that degree he will involve in my life. He will manage my past life karmas. He will, if required, he will take away certain things from me. So when things are not in a good shape in our life, it could be bad health sometimes, or it could be financial problems, or it could be so many things. After coming to devotional service, we should know that it is all Lord only is doing it. Huh? Lord is doing this for my good. So a devotee should never feel sorry. Oh, what is this now? I've taken up Krishna consciousness seriously. Oh, these problems were not at all there before. Now problems have come. New problems are coming. No. Once we say, "Oh Krishna, I belong to you. I'm your servant," then you should leave it to the Lord. How the Lord will manage our life. Our only business should be how to become more attached to Krishna, how to strengthen our sadhana, daily chanting, reading, hearing, how to do service to Srila Prabhupada's mission in one or the other way. This should be our meditation every day. What will happen to this problem, that problem? But we should leave it to Krishna. Krishna, you know what is best for me. Please give me what is best. This is how a devotee should pray. Devotee should not become discouraged because of some problems or challenges. Hmm? Now, how do we understand whether the problem that has come to our life is it Krishna's personal arrangement or is it because of our past karma? Now, the answer to this question is to what degree we surrender to Krishna, to that degree Krishna will involve in our life and manage our past karma reactions. Certain aspects of our life we don't want to fully surrender. Oh, this part I will keep it for myself. This I don't want to surrender. Then, in that aspect of your life, past karma only is haunting you. Whereas a devotee should think that there is nothing like this. This we cannot compartmentalize. Okay, this aspects of my life I will surrender to Krishna. In other aspects, I will not surrender to Krishna. That should not be the thinking of a devotee. Wholesale surrender, full surrender, complete surrender. You take care of my life. Huh? Suppose a devotee is a businessman. Yes, I will plan my business. I will do whatever as far as my intelligence allows. But Krishna, I'm surrendering my business to you. You are the real proprietor, enjoyer. You please guide me. Suppose a devotee is a student. Yes, my dear Lord, I will do my duty as a student. I will attend classes. I will make notes. I will work hard and study. All that I will do. But you are the one who is going to give me the results. So I surrender all my endeavors to you. So a devotee is always, not that, oh, this is a material part of my life. In my material part of my life, I don't have to surrender to Krishna. Only when I'm chanting, when I'm in the temple, when I'm in association of devotees, when I'm doing devotional service, then I should surrender to Krishna. It is not like that. For a devotee, there is nothing like material part of his life. Everything belongs to Krishna. So this realization we should have. So what we hold back, in what aspects of our life we hold back, Krishna will say, I will not poke my nose into it. Krishna is a perfect gentleman. He will unnecessarily not poke his nose unless we permit him. He will not do that. He is a perfect gentleman. He respects our free will. So therefore, intelligence is, as Narad Muni is saying, simply surrender to Krishna. All aspects. It's like a total wholesale surrender. Then Krishna will take care of everything that is required for his devotees. This is what Krishna's promise is, isn't it? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So Krishna says, if you always remember me without deviation, then Whatever is required for you, I will supply. And whatever you have, I will protect that. This is Yoga Kshema. So Krishna takes care of his devotees personally. Very important. So we should not have doubt. Oh, if I surrender, will Krishna really take care? Yeah, we should. Our job is to surrender to the Lord, follow the instructions of the spiritual master, and nicely do devotional service, sadhana. Krishna will surely give protection. Avashya rakshibe Krishna iti vishwasa palana. Definitely Krishna will protect. If Krishna can protect an elephant, for the sake of an elephant, Krishna came running. Hmm? In the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, it is said, when all his endeavors failed to protect himself, Gajendra offered prayers. Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. He said like this. Gajendra said, O Narayana, Akhila Guru, you are the spiritual master of the entire existence. You are the master. Narayana Akhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. So he took a lotus from the lake, and Gajendra, with his trunk, he offered to Lord Narayana, who had come on the Garuda, answering his prayers. And immediately the Lord protected Gajendra. He dragged out Gajendra from out of the clutches of the crocodile. So the Lord, this Gajendra's example is very, very important for us. We are like the Gajendra, in the pool of material existence, and the crocodile is Maya. Maya is dragging us down. We may say, I will protect myself from Maya. No, it is not possible. You may try and try. Unless we surrender to Krishna, it is not possible to get out of Maya's clutches. So we need Krishna's grace. So Krishna is very merciful. So he will protect us if we are sincerely trying to serve him. He will protect us. So therefore, we should always pray to the Lord, my dear Lord, whatever condition I may be in, please never put me into your forgetfulness. The only thing that a devotee should be afraid of is forgetfulness of Krishna. Somehow or the other, I should always remember Krishna. I should never forget Krishna. That is real fortune. That is real auspiciousness. So, whether I am materially pauper or whether I am a rich man, doesn't matter. But I should not forget Krishna. This is what a devotee should be always thinking. So, one more point that Prabhupada is mentioning is very interesting. See, in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, towards the end, Arjuna asks a question to Krishna. Arjuna says, what happens to somebody who takes up the process of devotional service, but due to worldly mindedness, he goes away without attaining perfection? He gives up the process in between. What will happen to him? Is he lost forever? So Krishna answers, no, he's not lost. Anyone who has taken up devotional service is never lost. In the next life, I make sure that such a person gets a human form of life. Not only a human form of life, but in favorable circumstances. He will be born in either a highly qualified Brahmana family. Example of this is Jada Bharat, isn't it? Or he may be born in a rich aristocratic family. In some or the other situation, so that he does not have to bother about his material requirements. If he is born in a good Brahmana family, from childhood he is having an opportunity to develop his spiritual consciousness. If he is born in a rich mercantile family, then he does not have to worry about his material needs. All of them are taken care so that he can focus nicely on spiritual path. So Krishna says, I make such arrangements. Now, but Prabhupada is saying here something very important. He's saying a devotee in such a position. Okay, let us read this again. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that such fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in a family of highly qualified Brahmanas or in a rich mercantile family. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into a position seemingly of helplessness. The devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the lotus feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate, but the devotee who is put into a forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around. You see? So, a devotee who is chastised by the Lord, who is put in a miserable condition by the Lord's arrangement, Prabhupada is saying, is more fortunate than those who are born in good Brahmana families or those who are born in some rich aristocratic family. Why? Because suppose somebody is born in a rich family, there is a chance that he will forget. He becomes more interested in material enjoyment. He may forget Krishna. Or somebody who is born in a nice, good Brahmana family, he becomes a victim of familiarity and he may take devotional service very lightly. There are many examples like that. But those devotees who are made to go through miserable conditions by the Lord's arrangement, such people become totally dependent on Krishna, isn't it? This is the reason why Kunti Devi says in her prayers, "O Krishna, give more miseries to us." Huh? Vipada tantu shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yarhi apunar bhava darshana. So Kunti Devi is saying, let more miseries come to us. Generally we pray that I don't want miseries, but Kunti Devi is teaching us a revolutionary prayer. She's saying, let more miseries come so that when miseries come, it's an opportunity for us to become more dependent on you, Krishna, in a helpless state of mind. We will be able to nicely remember you with total dependence and surrender, and you will surely come to answer our prayers and protect us from those dangers. And when we see you, seeing you means no more seeing repetition of birth and death. So therefore, it's a nice way. Oh Krishna, please give me more miseries. This is what Kunti Devi is praying. So, being put in a materially helpless situation is actually a special favor of the Lord upon his devotees. But of course, Prabhupada says this is only for special cases who want to attain Krishna, but at the same time, they're also having some material motives, material because of wrong association and all of that. So Krishna puts them in that condition so that swiftly they can return back to Godhead. That is Krishna's special favor, Krishna's arrangement. So Prabhupada recollects his own life and he says, after Prabhupada founded ISKCON and Prabhupada was in the West, on one such occasion, Prabhupada shares this with his disciples. Prabhupada says, I was running a pharmaceutical business in Allahabad. For a good amount of time, things were going on nicely. But all of a sudden, there were huge losses. I became bankrupt. There was huge losses in my business. And during those very same days, I was seeing a dream of my spiritual master coming and asking me, calling me. He was calling me. So I was not prepared, Prabhupada says. Of course, Prabhupada is a pure devotee, directly coming from the spiritual world, but Prabhupada is being very humble here and he's saying, I was not ready to take sannyas. But my spiritual master was calling me in my dream. He was beckoning me, calling me. uh, and at the very same time, my business also collapsed. It became, very difficult to manage the business. I went into huge financial losses. So that time Prabhupada says that this was an arrangement of Krishna. And then Prabhupada quotes this verse, Yasyaham anugrahanami harishye tadhanam shanaihi. Krishna says, if I want to show special favor, special mercy upon my devotee, then I take away, the first thing that I do is I take away all his material wealth. So like this, Prabhupada uh, recollects. So the point is, uh, Prabhupada, or a pure devotee of the Lord, how he perceives the miseries that come in his life. He thinks that it is Lord's arrangement so that I can become more dependent on him and I can go back to the spiritual world quickly. So this is how a devotee thinks. So therefore, in this shloka, Narad Muni is telling, my dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruitive workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So after this few verses, Narad Muni is going to talk about his own life in the past, how he was born as a son of a maid servant, and how by the influence and association of the pure devotees he got this taste for Krishna consciousness. All of these things Narad Muni is going to explain to Vyasadeva about his past life after a few verses. So we'll close here. Any questions? Anyone has any comments anyone wants to make? Okay, Praveen has asked a question here. Let me read. Would it help if devotees have remembrance of previous birth who didn't get perfection in one lifetime? Because birth in a good aristocratic family doesn't guarantee continuation of devotion. Yeah, that's why the Lord gives remembrance. So the Lord, in all these examples, what we saw, example of Gajendra, you know, Gajendra was able to remember the prayers that he learnt in his past life as Maharaj Indradyumna, and he was able to, at the right time, offer those prayers, and the Lord came. Or example of uh, who is the other devotee we discussed? Yeah, so some examples like that. The Lord gives the remembrance. Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat, or even Bharat Maharaj, when he was in the body of a deer also, the Lord had given him the remembrance of his past life. So that is also a mercy of the Lord. If a devotee is very, very sincere and he could not attain perfection in that lifetime, due to whatever reason he fell down from devotional service, but the Lord gives him the remembrance. The Lord gives him the remembrance. So therefore, we must practice Krishna consciousness very intensely. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha puman. Bhagavatam says, Tivrena means with great intensity we must chant, with great intensity we must practice bhakti. We should not become mechanical in our chanting and hearing and our services. With great intensity we should practice. Right? Then the Lord will give us the intelligence, remembrance, whatever is required for us to go back to the spiritual world. Hope that answers your question. If your question, your intention is, why is that all of us don't have remembrance of our past life? That is also the Lord's mercy upon us. If we remember our past, let's say 10 lives, we'll go crazy. In each life we had, different identities, different set of friends and enemies, so-called different relatives, and so many circumstances and situations. If you remember all of that, you will go crazy. You'll not be able to live this life peacefully. And that's why Mrityu Sarva Harascha Aham, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am death which devours everything. So at the time of death, everything is erased from our memory, our past lives, everything is erased, so that we can live a peaceful life. But in special circumstances, like what we discussed, Gajendra, that means if somebody is intensely practicing devotional service, Krishna can give us that remembrance in the next life to be more careful and to take up devotional service quickly, isn't it? So, hope that answers your question. Anyone has any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Pranav. Hare Krishna, Pranav. Yes.
Uh, this, um, I think, previous class
Mm,
in 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 Prabhupada's writing, he says we are spirit,
mm,
but mind, intelligent, and ego. So these are material.
yeah.
Now, in one of the um, explanation, he said, if we the typewriter analogy he gave, that
Mm,
we send the typewriter, what would be the function of the typewriter? It will remain the same.
yeah.
So typewriter is a material thing.
Yeah.
So now mind, intelligence, and ego. So this is also functioning in the spiritual world, right? In
Mm,
association with either with Krishna, Vishnu, Narasimha. So my question is whether mind, intelligence, and ego, these are material or spiritual. But my understanding is it is not spiritual as per uh, Prabhupada said, Vishiguru. Is a spiritual, I'm sorry, material, is mind, intelligence, and ego. But
okay.
functioning in spiritual world, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Mind,
I
intelligence,
got
and
your question. Right. So, um, right now, we are the soul, we are covered by a gross material body and the subtle material body comprising of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So, right now, whatever mind, intelligence, and false ego we are having, it is material. These are material elements. Krishna also confirms this in the seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhumirapo analo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankaram itiyam me bhinna prakriti me ashtada. Krishna says, these are my eight separated material energies: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So, all these are material elements. But when we go to the spiritual world, we don't take this material body with us. Material body means both gross body and subtle body. Gross body made up of five material elements: Panchabhutas, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and subtle body made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. When we go to the spiritual world, we don't take both the gross and the subtle bodies with us. We leave them here. So then what will happen when we go to the spiritual world? The soul has its own form. The soul has its own spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence, and spiritual real ego. Those things will develop when we go to the spiritual world. So, in the spiritual world, we serve the Lord with our original spiritual mind, intelligence, ego, and spiritual body. Now, since we have come to the material world, seeking to experience a spiritual world kind of situation, but independent of Krishna, therefore, our original senses and mind, intelligence, and ego have been covered by the material senses, mind, intelligence, and ego in this material world. Got it?
yes, Prabhu. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I understood. And
Yeah.
you said that Brahma part, I think it's, I'm not sure. What is the longevity of Brahmaji?
Yeah, that is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita itself in the eighth chapter. Uh, it is said, Lord Brahma's birth, Sahasra, Lord Brahma's duration of life, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu. So it is said, Ahar means day, day of Brahma, which is 12 hours of Brahma, which is also called one Kalpa. That is Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. It is 1000 Mahayugas. One Mahayuga means Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, one cycle. That is called one Mahayuga. Now, into 1000, that is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. And equal is his duration of night, another 12 hours. Like this, Brahma lives for 100 years. Each year has 12 months, each month has 30 days. So you can just imagine, he lives for trillions and trillions of years. But at the end of that, he has to give up his material body. That means he is not free from the cycle of birth and death. But our Brahma, currently the Brahma who is in charge of this particular universe in which we are living, we get the information from the Vedic scriptures that he is a pure devotee of the Lord. So at the end of his life, he is going back to the spiritual world. It's not necessary that every Brahma of all the universes are pure devotees. Our Brahma is a pure devotee. But it's a very long duration of life. It's very even inconceivable for us to even calculate. So this is the explanation given
Some
about the
trillion.
yeah, some trillions of years. You can see that in the eighth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. If you search for this verse, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, there if you study that verse, you will get to know what is the duration of Brahma's day
So
and his
here
life.
the additional add-on is the
Hmm.
question. I think other can ask. I will ask later.
Okay.
Maybe next.
There is one question posted in the chat. Expansions of Jaya and Vijaya appeared in the material world. Is it same for jivas also? In one lecture, I heard that we are very much in spiritual world, but in deep slumber, and the material world is experienced as a kind of swapna avastha. So, yeah, the material world is, Prabhupada says, just like there is a big sky, huge sky. Sky is huge. It's it's not possible to measure the length and breadth of the material sky, right? Sky itself. So, and some part of the sky is covered by a cloud, isn't it? In the same way, this material world is like a cloud in the spiritual sky, which is covered by the three modes of material nature. So, yes, the spiritual world is called Tripada Vibhuti, three fourth of the entire creation. Material world is the Ekapada Shrishti, one fourth of the creation. So our part is very less, insignificant. The material world is insignificant. Prabhupada gives example. Just like a prison house is a very small portion of the entire state, entire country. Prison house is a very small portion. Like that, material world is a very small portion of the vast spiritual world. Okay. So majority of the living entities live not in the prison house. They live in the outside world, mainstream world, in a free manner. In the same way, majority of the souls are in the spiritual world. They are voluntarily serving the Lord with love and devotion. They are all residents of the spiritual world. So this is the understanding. Hope that answers your question.
No, Prabhu, what I meant was we have a original
Mm,
Sarupa,
mm.
and this is what I heard with one lecture in Vraja session.
No, no.
We,
What is the
we
question?
the question is we have a original Sarupa in the spiritual world, and we are very much still in that original Sarupa only, but we have lost, we have come into a deep slumber, and we have transcended into the material world, and therefore we are having all these harrowing experiences. uh, the moment we shed this the just like the mirror which is coated with the dust, we are not able to see the real person who we are. That is the dehi within the deha. So that is the reason why we are suffering.
Yeah. So deep slumber means we have forgotten Krishna. That is
True,
the
Prabhu.
moment you forgetting Krishna, trying to enjoy independent of Krishna, that is called, that is when we come under the influence of Maya. That is the root cause of our material existence. So we are in the material world currently. Material world is a reality. Mayavadis say this material world is false, but the Vaishnava acharyas say no, it is not false. Why? Because the material world is coming from the supreme absolute truth, Krishna. How can something false come from the absolute truth? It's not possible. So material world is not false, but it's a temporary reality. So we have to shift our attention from this temporary reality to the spiritual, eternal reality, the spiritual world. And that is why Krishna is calling all of us to come to the spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. You come back to my abode, uh, the original abode, the eternal home. That is my param dhama, the supreme abode of mine. So, like that, Krishna explains. So, we have to become free from our forgetfulness and we have to develop love for Krishna, giving up our false idea that I can enjoy independent of Krishna. Until we develop that perfect consciousness, we will have to remain in this material world rotting. So we have to go back to the spiritual world. For that, we have to develop pure love for Krishna. Loving Krishna means I exist to give pleasure to Krishna. That is the meaning of loving Krishna. My very existence is meant for serving the desires of Krishna. This is what Krishna wants, I should do that. I should lead my life according to Krishna's plan, Krishna's direction. This is called loving Krishna. One cannot develop love for Krishna unless one receives the blessings of one who is already situated in the pure love of Krishna. Therefore, pure devotee spiritual masters' instructions have to be carried very, very seriously. Then, by the blessings of such a pure devotee, one can get the blessings of pure love for Krishna. Only then we can go back to the spiritual world. Is that okay? So,
Yes.
yeah. So we'll close the session. Thank you very much for all your valuable time. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय, विश्व गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की जाय. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.